Hey Brant, what's going on?
Good, good. How's your day going?
Oh, it's going pretty good. You want to make fun of some panels on
Let's do
Reddit?
it. This will be fun. I haven't seen these, so we'll see what happens.
Let's see here. All right, let's see what we got here. Ooh, first victim. This looks like a brand new install.
Yeah, just not the Atom unit on the right hand side. Um, I
That
mean,
was due to supply chain issues.
the attempt was made to try not to use terminals, right? To just go to the from the sensor directly into the I/O. I get it, uh, but just look at the fact that that wireway on the very top is barely getting used at all.
I mean, in my mind, what I see here is just poor planning.
I mean,
Like this was an afterthought.
this was can I make the smallest amount of box as possible and get it done. That they succeeded with that.
Well, I don't know if you can tell this, but you see the shadow above the enclosure and to the left. I bet you that's every bit of what they could do.
Right? Is that Atom unit? I would have thought that it would have had DIN rail mounts on it. Why does it seem like it's floating?
It looks like that because they have industrial connectors on it, and I bet you with those connectors installed, they can't have it mounted to the DIN rail.
Yeah, I would have just mounted this. Used some really strong adhesive and just mounted it to the side of the panel.
Yeah,
Um,
and they have some pretty nice little mounts that come with them too that you could do that with.
yeah. Now, none of these cables are labeled. However, it is really nice is they've got them just all coming from the very bottom of the panel, so you could just trace that wire by pulling and tugging.
Yeah, I mean the term service loop comes into play here.
All the surface loop is right here inside of the panel.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's not the worst I've ever seen, but I can just I would just be fearful of single time you go. You, every time you touch inside of there and start pulling on stuff, you might be pulling something out. That's it.
I don't know. How would you rate this? 0 to 10 on effort.
On effort. Um, I would, well, for a box, I would close the door and hope that I'll never have to open it up again. You
I
see that
can't
one of
see
the
this from
cables,
my house, so it's okay.
yeah, one of the cables is coming outside of the panel. So I don't know, is this going to be one of those things where they're going to close the door onto the cable? On the bottom left hand side, you got a cable on the outside.
Ooh, I see that. I see that. No, the technician that took this picture, he was making up the ends to terminate it at this time. That he took the
Right.
picture. That's why
Gotcha.
that wire's hanging out.
This all assumes that all sensors and all outputs will never blow a relay or a fuse. So one of the benefits of this of going to terminals is you can start fusing out the distribution of it. So um, I would have some spare cards on hand.
Definitely would. Definitely would. Let's see what else we got. Ooh, this one looks pretty interesting. Hmm.
Nice and clean.
It
Got a
looks
light.
clean.
Got a light on it.
I feel sorry for that compact logics though, and
For
the
a fuse
drives.
wise, right?
Yeah, you know, I always love it. It always looks nice to see a panel built this way, where everything fits up nice and tight to it. But how well do you think that that compact logic can breathe?
It's not breathing.
What
It's
about those?
suffocating.
What about those 525s?
Yeah, I don't think that was designed. I mean, I could be wrong, but years ago when I looked it up, you're going to need at least 2 to 3 inches on the top and bottom,
Yep.
right? Especially where the heat sink is, there's probably some small little mini fans that need to have that cool it down. So yeah, that's not the manual.
No. 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 Yep. This looks like engineering said went to controls and said, "Hey, we need it all to fit in this box. Can you make it work?"
Yeah,
And they made it
I,
work. It looks good. I mean, everything's clean. Everything. I see a lot of labels in it.
I mean, but this suggests that they're going to be expanding that compact Logix, indefinitely for another foot or two, right? Um, if that's like an L18, I can't read it from here, but you can only put 8 cards on the end of it. So um, it's never going to be this that long.
Let's see. Think we can see?
I can't. Yeah, not my screen, but maybe an L16, maybe.
L16 is what it looks like.
All right, so 6 cards on the right hand side, 4 note cards. They only have one. The rest of the DIN rail is a complete waste. So
Well, I mean, if you would have taken a little bit of time to lay this out, you could have laid this out to where everything could have had good air spacing. Everything could have been really nice and organized and worked. But I see a lot of failures with this panel in the future.
yeah, here's another issue: is that L16 can only communicate via. It can only have 4 devices on it, so on Ethernet. So you've already got 3 VFDs. You add one HMI, and that's it.
Huh.
It would be hard to add another, VFD to this if you wanted to get into the programming. I mean, you've essentially locked yourself out. So this is just for VFDs on Ethernet, and it looks like potentially that they. I can't tell from here whether they use Ethernet or not. In fact, I can't even tell if there's an Ethernet switch here at all. So
No, there's not.
maybe by chance they did it the old-fashioned way, which is using the 4 to 20.
That
Which
does it
which
have
is
built in? Let's see what is this card right here. That's as far as I can zoom in on it.
maybe an IB8, which is an input card. So yeah, that's not a.
I bet they're doing discrete speed on it.
Yeah. So to me, it's a tragic when all of a sudden you've got a VFD, and then all of a sudden you can't even utilize some of the extra data that it can provide, right? So like,
Exactly.
maintenance would want to know what was the current this month. What is the motor running on current wise this month versus 6 months ago, and you can only do that if you're starting to capture that data. So that's just my thought. So I would have upgraded the PLC to something higher that would handle a lot more of the VFDs. I would have done Ethernet. I would have grabbed all the data from it and gone from there. But other than that, maybe the panel should actually be smaller, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And then also the yellow. I don't know what brand that is, but I'm going to kind of take a wild guess. That's safety relays.
Oh, let's see what it is.
Could be like sick.
Yeah, it's sick. I can see
Okay.
that.
Another thing you could do is you can do guard logics, and you can incorporate all the safety, safety circuit into the PLC itself. If you want to go that route, I mean, there's reasons for it, there's reasons not, but that's just an option.
Yeah. So
I get,
go ahead.
yeah, my guess would be is based on what I see on the outside is they're probably doing some kind of light curtains and maybe a gate entry and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, so what would you give it?
As far as a panel,
Yeah.
I'd give it. It does look all clean, so I'd give it a 7.
I'd go with that.
Not the
7
missing
on
points.
looks, 3 on
Expandability.
yep. Oh no, 3 on functionality. Just it's this panel is going to give them issues. I just see that, just heat, and luckily it's big. Maybe long term it'll be okay, but
Think about this. Let's say all of a sudden they want to expand to this equipment to more VFDs or whatever the case is. You'd be ripping out that processor out, and potentially the next bump up would be a compact Logix that has no local I/O on it. So you'll be running those to cards, physical cards.
yep.
But now you're going to take physical cards and hopefully those wires will actually reach the actual new cards.
Okay.
Anyway, just my thought. But yeah, 3 for expandability.
All right. Let's see. What else is there? I just wired this panel at school. Any tips to make it cleaner or better?
I mean, it's at school. Our first anytime of course our first panels are always going to be worse, or the worst.
Well, and you got to imagine this thing probably gets torn down and rebuilt, at least
But
twice a week.
but hopefully they teach you at this class. I'm already seeing it, but like there's labels some places, but not labels in other places. So
Well, I'm sure this school, probably preaches labels, but doesn't provide label makers. And I don't know if you've bought a label maker lately, but they're not cheap, especially being on a student salary.
yeah,
So,
well,
but you can buy
there's a
wire
lot.
numbers real cheap. The little,
Yeah,
did you ever buy the little red spools that had wire numbers on them?
of course. Yeah, yeah. You know what? Those are better than nothing.
True, true.
Well, there's a lot going on here. You want to take a stab at it?
Uh, Not really. This is something that's done in school, so they might have had a class that said, hey, build a panel that, the PLC controls this, safety relay that, work with what you got. So
Right.
I'm not really going to judge him too much because he's got to work with what he's got. If this was something that was going to go into production, there's a whole lots of things that are wrong here.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. I wonder what processor is this?
Another L16.
Another L16. I'm sure that's DC inputs. What do you think?
Yeah, it's for the red wires, which is a weird DC inputs. Yeah.
Well, even when I was in college, they taught us that red was an okay color for DC.
All right. Well,
I know color code changes in region and standards and whatnot that you go to,
right. That's true.
but I think as long as it's consistent throughout the panel, you look here, you have on the 120 side of the power supply, a black, white, green would have been okay.
That's normal.
Been
That's what I
normal.
normally see is 120 is red.
Yep. And then DC is would have been black and red.
Yeah, but I only see those black and red when I see inside of cars. Right?
Yep. DC only systems.
Because now you got 2 different reds. It could either be 24 volts or 120, and that's just.
For a school application, you're mixing DC and AC in the same panduit.
Yeah. They are wearing. They've got ferrules. They got ferrules.
You know what? I just noticed that. That's
They got zip ties with sharp edges on them.
Well, that's because the school can't afford to. Well, they at least clipped them long. So maybe that's not too bad. But not everybody has zip tie guns.
Yeah.
By the way, do y'all carry zip tie guns with you?
No. No.
You should invest in those. Altex has them, by the way. They're cheap.
I usually always have a dike around, so I just do my best on that. But
Yeah, but that still leaves a.
yeah, it's a little. Yeah, I get it. Yep.
Next time you're at Altex, just scroll through that little tool section and buy you one. I promise it. Promise you, it's life changing. So, all right. Yeah, I mean, it's at
Yeah.
least neat.
Give me something that's been used out in the field for a long time.
What do you mean? Oh, let's see what we can find. Ooh. Huh. How many of these have you seen?
Yeah, this is where this is what I'm used to.
I mean, it looks like a homemade enclosure. I haven't seen one of those in a long time. Homemade wireway.
Yep. Yeah, it looks stainless steel except for those bolts.
Yeah. Let's see what the ooh. I mean,
Oh, bug
hey, I
connectors.
think the white wire is bad. Or at least if you look, you'll see that the white wire at least has a wire number on it.
Right. Do you think that this was another panel or terminal that it was landed on, and they wanted to extend them even longer, and they just swapped out the terminals?
Probably
'Cause
the
these-
electrician cut it too short when they were pulling the wire.
wow.
They already made the wire pull, and they're like, we're not pulling this again. Just splice onto the end of it and call it good.
I don't know if you've ever seen these, but they sell them on Amazon. But these are butt connectors, but they have solder in between them
Yeah.
that will you put any kind of amount of heat onto them, like even a lighter, and basically it just solders those together, and it's just you know essentially shrink wrapping it and soldering it the piece in the middle together. I see them being used on cars a lot more now.
Huh. Nice. This doesn't look too bad.
Yeah,
It
at
has some
least
pneumatics in it.
right. At least the pneumatics aren't on top of the wires because they typically leak, and then when they leak, I don't know if you can scroll down, but I'm sure there's a puddle of oil. Usually, I see a puddle of oil. Yeah, you can't really tell by here.
Yeah. You think that one right there is leaking any? Don't worry about that one. It's okay.
Yeah, don't worry.
Look, Wago connectors.
Yep. Do you see any label on the white wires on the left-hand side? I see nothing. You know what? The white wires could actually have some kind of number on them.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Okay.
I've looked. You see these wire numbers right here? It said like VP6110. I've actually looked into using that type of a label on my wires.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Chances are that this is some kind of Europe equipment.
Probably. Ooh. Man, why do J boxes turn into this?
And yeah, right. They're all the same. And this goes back to when you use Ethernet or Profinet or any type of like remote distribution type stuff, the terminal boxes go away, right? You're placing the I/O near the device that it's actually wired to, and so these messes just kind of, you know, essentially disappear just on this alone. But this is how we used to do it.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's hard to know how many wires you're going to have to a J box sometimes. Ugh. Ooh, look at those.
You know, if you were to put the Wireway back on, this isn't that bad.
Nah, not too bad. Hey, look, the documentation stuffed in the Wireway.
Yep,
I wonder what happened to the Wireway covers.
they're on the side, or
If you're lucky, they
um,
are.
yeah. So the biggest problem when they were stripping those big cables up on the very top left hand side, you know, you could have just stripped those back a lot farther, and that should have been sufficient. But yeah, now it's a mess.
Yep. All right, let's go on to the next one. Let's see here. More of the same. I want to say the after. Let's see. Are you okay? If you have PSTD. Oh my goodness. All right. Ooh, rate this panel. Ooh, bus work.
Oh, nice. This looks clean.
Yes. Nice.
I don't usually get involved with this, but I know people who do.
Yeah. I'd like to see the more of the pictures involving this. Let's see, push button panel with wiring debate. Solid versus stranded.
Oh,
Well,
somebody's using solid. Oh, wow.
yeah.
Not bad. Except for I have witnessed. Well, I just wouldn't make those sharp corners. That's all. If they were more rounded, I'd be okay with it. On the very top, they've got them. I mean, it looks good, but I've noticed some shorting when they
Yeah, I think
bend the copper too much.
yeah, this is what it would look like with stranded. I mean, this is
Yeah,
in my mind. I would have probably said, "Hey, how about you put a little spacing between those switches and run some wire duct."
yeah.
That's Panduit wire duct with the adhesive on the back. That stuff doesn't come off if you prep the material correctly,
Right.
and you could really clean either one of those up by having wire duct there.
And then another thing that I've seen is that you can actually have that welder that actually puts on those studs
Uh
onto the
huh.
panel. So that's pretty slick.
Oh, we were doing epoxy sticky backs for a while,
Okay.
and that's not a bad method either. Grind the metal away a little bit, mix the epoxy up, put the sticky back on there. It, I mean, 50 pounds of force, it's not coming off. I mean, if you jerk on it or pry on it, it'll pop it off. But
But then you can just re-glue it back again.
yep, yep,
Got it. You know, this is a typical example of why, if you're going to spend the money to actually have an HMI,
yep.
why are there actually switches?
Well, and I'll explain to you why. Because with that switch, the operator can flick that switch, push that switch, do whatever to that switch, and not break the HMI when it's not doing it's supposed to.
I guess if it's repetitive, like a lot, I can see that. But this is too many buttons. Because I've been down this road where a customer would be like, hey, I just need you to wire this one selector switch and this another additional thing. And then all of a sudden, 3 months later, hey, I just one more switch and another, it's like you realize you've had me come back to this 4 times. It would have been just cheaper on an H-Line. And then I can massage it and move stuff around. But I do also get it. I mean, I can tell from here it's not, and that it's got to be an Allen Bradley panel view.
Oh yeah.
Um, but the cost of them is so high that no one likes to buy the big screens, the big touch screens that actually show the process per se. They all do this. They get tight, they get cheap, and then they go for the 6-inch screen.
Or they
But they
go for
want,
the 3.5.
man, and they want everything out of this stupid
Can we
three
do
and
all
a
this
half.
on a 3.5-inch screen?
Yeah, yeah, and
We
we've done
can.
it for customer. We've done trending inside of like a 5.5-inch or a 6-inch screen, and it's ridiculous. It's
Oh my
like,
goodness.
and then all you're doing is just going through page after page after page because you just can't display all of it, you know, condensed in one. Yeah, so it's a mess. Sorry.
Yeah. Well,
The only problem I got with this is if any of those wires gets a little loose, you've got a bunch of switches that go bad
that's it.
because it's daisy chain.
That's it. This is a climate controlled PLC panel I built. Wire duct covers make a world of difference. Let's see. Not bad.
No,
Using Siemens.
you got a big wire way on the very bottom.
Yeah, I mean, that's where all your field IO is going to land. I mean,
Right.
nice. I mean, everything's tucked away nicely. Looks like everything's labeled.
Everything's finger safe.
Yep,
Even got
yep.
covers on that transformer.
It'd be interesting to see if how much of this is ACIO. I mean, you have see, we do have a power supply and UPS here.
Man, this is definitely a really heavy on the Phoenix Contact, and all you need is to swap that Siemens out for a PLC Next, and this is a completely Phoenix Contact except for the enclosure.
Yep, I agree.
And the E1, and whatever that black box is, I don't know what that is.
That looks like it's something Profinet.
Yeah, don't know.
Let's see what the second. Ooh, yeah, this is it with all the covers on it. Nice.
Yep, no issues.
Ooh, they have. This looks like the Phoenix Contact wireless
Oh, the
gateway.
wireless. Yeah, nice. Okay.
Yep, nice. I'd give it a 9. Maybe
Yeah.
an 8.
Agreed.
New panel, guys. First solo full cap. Well, I mean, if you're in a panel shop and it's your panel guy's first build, I hope he's building it to the drawings to begin with. Not too shabby. Wires are a little sloppy, but I mean, these wires here on the breakers could have been tidied up a little bit. Do y'all ever use the Connect 6500s?
Nope, not yet.
Ooh, it's air conditioned. Nice. Everything's labeled. Hey, look, a bronze mallet. For when the disconnect gets out of line.
So my only problem is this is if you rate the energy level, NFPA 70E, to open these doors of this panel, you'd have to be wearing a lot of protection.
Oh yeah.
So that's my only gripe on this machine.
Well, I mean, in a plant scenario, your electrician should already be rigged out for that, anyways. I do I do agree that this processor doesn't need to be here.
Right.
I mean, the remote I/O, that's fine,
Right.
but the processor should be somewhere else.
I am kind of curious on how they are e-stopping. What do they do into those drives? I guess they're just going to go to disconnects. Maybe that's what's to the right. Um,
Yep, that's what these are.
yeah, there's only two of them for the big motors. Maybe that's just a motor starter.
Yeah, those may be the.
That's the forward and reverse, maybe, or high speed and low speed. I mean, yeah, who knows? But yeah, how are you? If somebody hits an e-stop, how are these VFDs um, shutting down? Because what I'm not seeing is any kind of safety contactor and that kind of stuff.
Well, what is this? Looks like what are these little M12 connectors on the bottom of it? That looks like some sort of I/O connection to them.
Yeah, those may be. I mean, I
Encoders.
could be wrong. Those could be the encoders.
Okay. Well, I mean, they may just be running off of comms for their shutdowns,
Yeah, something.
or this blue and blue white on top could be some sort of contact. I don't know enough about the 6500s to say what's what.
Yep, I'm sure somebody will in the comment section. Let them answer it.
The vast knowledge. Just more pictures.
Why would somebody need that brass mallet though? It does bother me.
The mallet? Don't worry about the mallet. All right, let's go find something else. How do you keep your cables tidy? This isn't bad.
Nope.
I mean, a little bit of time massaging those wires, would really clean it up. Man, I haven't seen an E1 that looks like that.
No. I haven't seen capacitors sitting on the outside over on the left-hand side. I've never seen them like that.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. This must be a European panel.
Oh yeah. And a black PLC I've never seen before. That definitely does fit the description of the black box of the PLC.
Ooh. Let's see. What drive? Oh, these are automation direct drives.
Yep. All right, so
not bad. Everything looks very clean in here.
they're even running the Ethernet cables on the outside of the wireway right there.
Yep, nice. Whoever built this understands that.
Those that look like the Eaton type of motor starters from Automation Direct. Yep.
Those are WEG motor starters.
Okay, you're right.
Which, by the way, Automation Direct sells those now. I'm not a big fan of their power supplies.
I found that power supplies are even kind of on the expensive side.
They are, and I've just noticed that they don't hold their voltage levels very consistent.
Yeah.
StrideLinks, by the way, is not a bad VPN router.
Okay.
Got a customer that uses a lot of those, and they're not bad to set up, and they work.
Um, yeah, cost wise, pretty fairly affordable.
Pretty affordable.
Okay. All right. So one thing I noticed, and I noticed it every once in a while, but hopefully they're going to put some use to it. But there's no sense of using the it's the Ethernet 4.0 gateway. I see two ports on it, so that's the AENTR version. So there's it costs at least extra, probably like $100. But if you're not going to use that extra port, then there's no reason for that extra R on the model number. You can get single port.
Hmm.
It's
Okay.
cool for daisy chaining, but in this case, you got an Ethernet 8-port switch just right there.
Yeah, but I bet you everywhere else they utilize that, and for consistency of parts.
All right, fair enough. Yeah,
I mean, I'm a big fan of, hey, if you use this 50% of the time, stick with it. Don't buy something else just because it's $50 cheaper. You know,
totally
that
agree.
that means you got two different parts that you have to keep on the shelf uh,
It it,
to
it
do
changes.
repairs.
Yeah, it changes the what you store. It changes what you have on your BOM. It changes what you're your on your electrical drawings.
I really
Uh,
like this. Whoever built this panel they did everything nice. Terminal strip definitions, terminal block numbers. They're labeling their devices. I mean, I like how they labeled the VFDs too,
yep,
to let you know what VFD is what. I mean, even the motor contactors have their labels on it. I mean,
yep,
this is top notch. This I'd give a 9 out of 10 on it if I had to rate it.
yep. I agree.
Let's see what else they did. Oh, here's the rest of it. I bet we can find out who made this. Temperature sensor for the panel.
Yeah, but why wouldn't you use the Automation Direct's little temperature switch?
Well,
It
that's
does.
probably an analog.
No, you can see by the rotation of it's still a switch. You can rotate that the top part and
Oh,
you can configure it when its switching activity is. This could be the problem of like just whatever's in stock.
probably, probably.
And all those fuse disconnects, I'm not sorry, fuse holders are all they look like they have a cover over them.
Yeah, that's all finger. They're all finger. It looks all finger safe, which is good. I like that. Looks like
Super
the
nice wiring done on the side of the door. I don't know if you can see that, but
Oh yeah, very nice. That
that is
takes time. That takes a
somebody's.
lot of time
Yeah,
to do that.
and you
Looks
got
like
the old
Premier. The name of the company that built this is Premier. They did a very good job on this one.
Allen Bradley 800 series switches.
Hey, because 30 millimeter buttons, that's all you
Yeah.
can use today. Let's see. Rate my VFD panel. Hey, not too shabby.
ABB.
It's got ventilation on the top. Nice. Intake is on the door. Not bad. I mean, it's wired nicely.
No issues.
Most of the
Rattel.
wires are labeled. Let's see. Not bad. Not bad.
The only thing I could say is it would have been nice to have those HMIs dependents that are on the VFDs themselves.
Yep.
You just do a little like a little kit that puts them on the outside of the panel.
Yeah. I don't
There's
know.
pros and cons to it, right? I mean, it depends on like what kind of customer you have as far as what is the maintenance staff. But I mean, you're getting a poor man's HMI that gives you some decent information from it.
Well, and also you got to be very good about locking the controls on those because
Right.
operators are notorious for finding out how to get into the settings of those things and making changes.
Yep.
But no, this is a good looking panel. Not bad. Let's see what else. He's got another picture of it. The same thing. Ooh, let's check this one out. This one looks like a panel built by the two engineers versus the panel the apprentice built.
Oh my gosh.
Engineers built this one.
Yeah, that's definitely proof of concept.
The apprentice
Yeah,
built that one. Oh man. Not bad. Oh, have you programmed any of the Automation Direct PLCs yet?
I did probably 11 or 12 years ago. I did one. Obviously, I had some issues with the fact that like anytime where you did branching in one rung,
Yep.
you would branch it, and you would have like multiple branches, which is typical of any kind of ladder logic. During that time, it wouldn't let you do it. So you had to have multiple rungs to do certain things instead of branching. So anyway, I'm not sure if they fixed that or not nowadays, but other than the fact that they're fairly inexpensive, they're great.
This one looks pretty slick. This was made in China or Japan. I don't know what to think, but
Well, they had their load cell displays right next. Yeah. So usually, what I usually pull in my load cells into the 0.80 or whatever the case is, I get them in a different way, and then I put the data and the information on the actual HMI.
yeah.
So I eliminate the need on the outside of the panel, but it's hard to tell. But it looks very well organized.
Yep.
Very separated, very isolated. You could make an argument that you could have saved some, but it looks nice.
Yeah, the only thing that bothers me is there's a couple of pieces of wire duct that aren't square.
Yeah, look how many on that door. Look how many devices are on that door. You've got I don't know what those are on the door that's open. Yeah, the right in the middle rip. You've not only got a lot of switches, but even above that, you've got some kind of devices that are displayed. Here's your VFDs.
Mitsubishi's. Not bad. I mean, I go back to that that old adage is give the operators something to push, twist, and punch besides the screen.
Can I just mount a couple of fake buttons that don't do anything, and then
Yes.
that survives? Okay.
Yes. Have the buttons that duplicate what's going on the screen on the panel. I'm telling you.
First, stop using a screwdriver to turn a pump on.
Yeah, well they'll shove the screwdriver through the screen.
It happens.
I've seen it. I've seen it twice. That's how often that's happened.
Yeah, my answer to this is, I mean, first of all, stop hiring those types of operators. But second of all, I always go for an HMI that you can separate the PC away from the actual monitor. Right? Those are two. They need to be two separate items.
And that's one of the reasons why I'm a big pusher on Proface products. The all their in their 5000 and 6000 lineup, the screen and the processor are two different pieces.
Perfect.
So if someone decides to put their fist through a screen, You fire that guy. Technician walks out, or the maintenance guy walks out with a brand new screen, detaches it from the back, puts the new one in, puts it back on, powers it up. Everything can go back to normal. It's they've got some pretty cool stuff. This looks like a video. Let's see what we're gonna get ourselves into.
Not bad.
Look at the timer relays on the
Time
panel.
relay. Yeah. Wow.
That's so the technicians have something to twist. But
That
check
is
out that
huge
big honking.
power supply.
This right here. Check out that big honking IPC mounted on the door.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any cables from it, so I don't know if that's going to be wired in afterwards.
Probably wired in later. But yeah, I mean, still a lot of things that go clickety clack. Not too bad.
Nope, no issues.
Let's see here. Panel I own that I most recently built. Company does all the programming. Hey, look, they get into airplanes too.
Wow.
Ben
Some,
Shaw. We actually did a project with some Ben Shaw drives here recently. We built two 400 horsepower VFD cabinets, and we couldn't find any of the usual suspects, so we gave Ben Shaw a try and worked out just fine.
never heard of them.
They're not bad. Not bad on price either. But no, this panel looks pretty good. Ooh, look at this old Compact Logix in here.
More WEG motor starters.
Yeah. I mean, Automation Direct is not a bad place. I mean, have you scrolled through their website lately?
I love the website. I mean, think about how much time saving you'll save. I mean, I've been in the bathroom and ordered parts for Automation Direct. So and a lot here's what happens when you own your own company or whatever the case is, and that is that you are bombarded throughout the day with a whole bunch of stuff. And if you're like I have done in the past, which I've ordered a lot of parts, essentially you want to be able to order parts at 9:00 at night.
Yep.
And so there's only one way to do it. You know exactly whether it's in stock or not. You know the price of what you want, and then you can just order it, and then you can get overnight. I've had overnighted items, and when you're out in the field and you need something ridiculous, and you can just have it overnighted, it makes sense, and that beats out a lot of the unfortunately some of the vendors that I like the guys, I love them to death, but to get prices you have to email and then email back, and then you'll find out that you want to change something out because it's cost too much, so you're going back and emailing. So it's that all vendors need a website that you can actually see their inventory and see prices.
Yep, and I mean that's why I have. Go ahead.
It's 2022. They should have been already on a website 12 years ago.
Well, and that's why I have my suppliers who I buy things from that I get the cheapest priced on, and I have my suppliers if I need something tomorrow. It's going to cost a little more, but hey, guess what? It'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
As long as I can get it ordered by 4:30 in the afternoon, it'll be there the next day. But yeah.
Yep. I'm not seeing where it looks like this is not fully done. There's no Ethernet cable to the PLC, but
that's because they don't need it.
It's wireless.
It's wireless.
And same with the e-stop circuit.
But does this processor even have Ethernet?
It is. It's on the bottom. There's 2 ports. Yep.
Oh, what processor is this?
That could be like E33, E36. Yeah, there's
Hmm. Yeah. Oh, and the Benshaw drives, you can get them in Ethernet IP, Profibus, Profinet, Modbus, all that stuff as well.
nice.
But yeah, I think we've looked at enough, man.
Yep. We'll call that den.
Yeah, we'll have to get some people to start sending us some. Make fun of
Oh.
them.
Well, thanks for watching, there, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this. If you'd like more, let us know.
All right. See you, Brant.
Yeah.